And we're live.
Hey guys, good evening and welcome to my exciting channel. We're discussing Mandela effects into the life. Thanks for joining me today as we uncover the mysteries of the Mandela effect itself and find out the true meaning of it all. We must discover what is really happening, what is really going on here, to change these things that we know and hold dear to us. And let us help others discover the meaning of the Mandela effect and how it affects them and the price of milk. Thank you. And be sure to hit the like and subscribe down below.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting show. We've got plenty in store for you guys, some brand new effects as well as revisiting some older ones. We have Teresa Lynch's group. Some of the things that she's wanted to share with us from her group, so we'll be presenting that shortly. Just want to welcome everyone. We're going to be exploring this collaborative collective here.
Hey, Brian.
And yeah,
I just want to let the chat know because I'm not in there. I'll be in there in about 3 minutes. I have to clock Joey out. That's all.
that is fine. That is fine.
And happy Easter, everyone.
Happy Easter, everyone. This is our Easter show. Just like the Easter Bunny who delivers eggs and little chocolates to children around the world, the Mandela effect leaves us questioning what we think and we know to be true. So, guys, sit back, relax, grab your popcorn and drink as we question our reality and dive into this fascinating Mandela effect world.
In Easter style.
Easter style, correct. Yes. So let's hop to it. Yeah, Teresa told me to say that, by the way. Yeah, there she is. Hey, Teresa. Good to see you in the chat. We got John Nada.
Hello.
Who else we got here? Esther, you want to do some of the shout outs?
Yeah, we got General Sorrow, Noise Guru. Let's see. I know General Sorrow is definitely making some noise there. Hello. You said John Nada already. Of course, Sandy every once in a while. Analog Line. If he's gonna stay awake. I think somebody was tired earlier. They said they would try to make it. Let's
All right.
see anybody.
So let's go ahead and present some of the stuff. Teresa's group.
Hi, Teresa.
You got everybody.
Hi,
everybody.
I think
here?
so.
Esther, okay.
Sleepy. No, I think that's everybody that I can see at least.
Okay.
Oh, Adam for Christ just showed up.
Well, this is interesting. Eric Michael, he's one of Teresa's group here, Mandela Reality Residue Hunters. She's got 2,500 people in the group, by the way. Thank you guys for contributing. Eric says, did you know that tarantulas can swim? Yes, that's right. I know what you're thinking. What? Why? That's right. Y'all, tarantulas can swim. The terrifying reality we live in now. So there's, I think there's actually a video here. They can swim on water.
Nice find, Eric Michael. Nice find.
Very good find. I saw this meme. There's a meme about spiders. God in His infinite wisdom, thankfully, He did not give spiders wings. So yes, thankfully.
Some can fly. They use their webbing and they can fly with their webs. So yay.
Like Spider-Man?
I thought we covered this the swimming tarantulas like a couple of years ago.
We may have, but I know the parachuting ones are horrible.
Yes.
Well.
Yeah, I'm like I don't like the thought of. I don't know which spider can fly. I don't want to know. I'd rather stay ignorant. No, thank you.
Teresa Lynch was visiting Hobby Lobby. This is a repost from a few years ago. She was visiting Hobby Lobby and spotted this, the Lion and the Lamb residue. Look, guys. She's holding in her hand the lion and the lamb residue for that Bible verse, Isaiah 11:6, which of course now it says the wolf and the lamb are laying together now. So yeah, great residue. Fantastic residue right there.
Yeah, I will say the positive thing about tarantulas, at least they don't typically bite. And they're not poisonous to humans.
Yeah, I've heard that the
At least
daddy
if you
long.
put one in the water, they might be kind of whoa, but at least if they bite you, you're not going to die.
Yeah, well, I've heard the daddy long legs. Sorry, the daddy long legs. I've always heard that's one of the most poisonous spiders, but the fangs are too short to bite you.
Yeah, that's a misnomer. They actually are not toxic at all to humans. The only person that could possibly be in danger with a daddy long legs getting bit is a infant or people who have extremely weak immune systems. If they were to get bitten, only because their immune system can have a reaction, but it's like basically it's the likelihood of your child getting struck by lightning inside their house. Like it's extremely rare. Even
like
I think it's what 13 people a year die of spider bites because they're not treated or they have an underlying condition. So it's actually not really the spider bite that kills you. It's they don't have an immune system that can carry it, or they waited too long to get the spider bite taken care of.
Esther, you just made me think about something because we always thought lightning always goes, from the cloud to the ground. You hear cloud to ground lightning. That's what it's called. In actuality, it starts from the cloud, but then the ground shoots the ground and buildings. You see, sometimes you'll see in the cities when there's a lightning storm, you can actually watch it slowed down 1,500 times with a professional camera, and you can see lightning actually starts from the ground up, and then they connect. They actually meet in the middle. What?
That is definitely new because my entire life seen lightning come out of the ground.
Yeah, it comes out of the buildings and stuff. It's weird. Yeah, we have Teresa posted here, runaway black hole traveling through the universe. This is interesting. It weighs as much as 20 million suns. Wow.
Well, that's terrifying. It's not anywhere near us, right?
I hope not.
Hey, as long as it stays far away from us, we can drive by all it wants as long as it stays out of distance. Could be a run by fruiting.
Mind over matter, right? I guess. All right. Next one here. So Teresa Lynch posted in her group April 5th. We have a rare treat. This treat is called purple honey. And it recently sparked a debate on social media. It's real and it can be found in North Carolina. Despite the mystery surrounding its origin, this unusual looking honey is now in high demand, believe it or not, with orders coming around the world. It's not every day you stumble upon this jar of honey, but this is exactly what's happening in North Carolina, where beekeepers are producing this highly sought after treat. The mysterious color of the honey is attributed to a chemical reaction between the acid in the bee's stomach and aluminum, which is found in higher concentrations in the flowers of coastal North Carolina. Now, I wonder why that's happening.
Now, I do want to mention that Eric Michael found that. Teresa says at the top, thank you to Eric Michael.
Okay, yeah. So Eric Michael found this one originally, and Teresa posted it. So those lucky enough to have tried the purple honey describe it as having a subtle taste of grapes or berries with a sweet flavor that's truly unique. Donald Dees, a beekeeper from North Carolina, said, It's produced by the bees, but it has a fruity undertone to it. It kind of goes with the unusual character of the honey being purple. It's a fruity flavor that really no one can identify.
Does
Wow.
that mean it's higher in
What do you think
aluminum?
about that?
Then? I'm confused.
Would you try purple honey? I mean, it kind of goes back to that green eggs and ham. Would you try green eggs and ham? I don't know if I'd try. I probably would give it a try as long as it's safe, I guess. I don't know. I'd have to. I'm not going to be the first one to try it. But I'll let a few people go ahead of me.
Yeah, I would want to find out, because they said that it's the aluminum. Like, what do they mean by that? Like,
well,
is there more aluminum in that, or is it just like a reaction to like the aluminum from the flowers? I've never heard of aluminum being in honey before.
They put, where is a common place you find aluminum? Like, it's usually in deodorant.
I just looked at Manimal. He said Alzheimer's honey. That's what I'm thinking.
Wait, what did he say?
Alzheimer's honey.
Oh, yes, Alzheimer's honey. That's funny.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, I try not to cook in aluminum foil, and I try to stay away from aluminum as much as I can.
I do not like them, Sam. I do not like green eggs and spam. Noise guru. You guys are hilarious. You crack me up. All right, so last one in Teresa's group. We usually do the top 5 picks. So if you guys are part of the group, please be sure to mention to Teresa, and we will try to get your post on the show. So yeah, that would be great. We can have like a possible like a mini contest or something like that, and we'll give a couple little prizes maybe. We used to do prizes all the time. I'd like to get back into doing that. Anyway, so Teresa said elf ears are now a thing.
Wait, Eric Michael says elf ears are now a thing.
Well, Teresa says thank you to Eric Michael at the bottom.
Eric Michael told her, yeah.
Yes. So elf ears are now a thing. An elf ear is a type of ear deformity present at birth, and it's often corrected early in life, also called Spock's ear by some individuals. This ear defect results in an ear that's pointy on the outside, and there's also an additional cartilage fold across in the middle part of the ear around the area known as the scapha. So yeah, check it out, guys. Also, didn't Teen Wolf also have ear, like when he became the Teen Wolf? He got Spock ears.
No,
maybe
it's covered in hair.
Yeah.
Maybe. Makes sense because the wolf's ear is pointed.
That's awesome.
General Sorrow says that he has an ear that is pointy on the inside, not uncommon. I've never seen one. I mean, if I have, I haven't noticed it. I mean, how common it is. Oh, sorry. I'll have to look that up, how common it is. Live long and prosper, that's right.
All right, so shall we move on?
Yes, we should. Remember, just go to Flickr. There's 2 folders from Curiouser Show, and then the rest is ours.
Commonly RH negative people.
All right, guys, so let's get set.
I hope everyone's having a good night.
Yes.
Good to see you all here.
Good to see you all here, yes. All right, here we go. Sorry, it takes me a minute to switch between slides here. So here we go. Can't say this is a Mandela effect, but I was raised Catholic and attended Catholic school from preschool through high school, and I have never heard of this. Have you ever heard of Spy Wednesday? Ever? Have you guys ever heard of Spy Wednesday? Now, is this part of the Holy Week? Is that right, Sandy? Is this the Holy Week, Spy
is.
Wednesday?
It is.
And it's actually an official holiday or official day.
It is.
I've only heard of Holy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and then Easter.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I
I'm
haven't
looking to the chat. I'm turning to the chat now. Guys, what about you, Esther? You're about to say something.
Oh no, I've never heard of it either. And I mean, I'm not Catholic, but I know a lot of Catholics. I've done research on Catholicism, and I've never heard of it. So
General Sorrow says no. Analog Lime says never heard of that term. Band Animal says no Spy Wednesday.
Not
Let's
Ash
see.
Wednesday either. Ash Wednesday is still Ash Wednesday.
Yeah, we're talking about Spy Wednesday. Yeah, Ash Wednesday is still Ash Wednesday.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that's the only one that makes sense to me is like Ash Wednesday. And then at that point on Ash Wednesday, you're supposed to fast for 40 days by not eating meat on Wednesdays and Fridays if you're Catholic, or if it's just during the 40-day period. And
Oh, my boss used to do that.
and by the way, Sandy, what did you get? What did you end up giving up for Lent? Did you give up anything?
Gummy bears. I love gummy bears.
Gummy bears?
Yes.
Oh man, I couldn't deal with that. I can't live without gummy bears.
No, I can't. Like, I could never give up coffee. But gummy bears, I love gummy bears. And that's like, if I'm without candy, it's going to be gummy bears.
I gave up Call of Duty.
Oh, that had to be hard.
Let's see. So I've only ever known it as Good Wednesday or Holy Wednesday. The day Judas betrayed Jesus Christ for 30 pieces of silver. But I've never heard it referred to as Spy Wednesday. The names are now used interchangeably as Spy Wednesday, a term used in your past. Not for me, not my reality.
And I've only recently heard of Holy Wednesday. There's Holy Thursday.
No,
Good
I only
Friday.
knew of Holy. Yeah, I only knew of Holy. We never heard about anything with Wednesday.
Except
Well,
for
where's
Ash
Monday?
Wednesday. Only
But
Ash
where's
Wednesday.
Monday and Tuesday?
I know.
Excuse me. I believe this is a Mandela change because Spy Wednesday is a term used in Catholicism. What do you think? Is this a change for you as well? I was wondering if you found earlier articles. I guess you did, didn't you? Because you remember they changed some of the prayers and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I did.
I think that was like in 2013 they started changing some stuff, like things that you say at Mass or whatever. Like the Nicene Creed for me changed, and I used to say it from memory, and I don't remember it anymore. I have to read it off now. Anyway, the Wednesday of Holy Week is also known as Spy Wednesday. During Judas Iscariot acts as a spy for the Sanhedrin. During this day, Judas accepted the payment of 30 pieces of silver in return for information that led to the betrayal of Jesus. Yeah, not my reality, not Spy Wednesday.
Never.
What was interesting is just recently, right after I found out about Spy Wednesday, it was like the very next day, a friend of mine posted a thing about Spy Wednesday on Facebook. And I'm like, I've never seen that term before. And the very next day, she's posting about that. And she's not Catholic either, but she was posting about Spy Wednesday. And I was like, what? I'm like, so apparently other people are posting about this. And like, there was a few other things too on Facebook. I'm like, I've never heard of this term.
That creeps me out. Hi, Jency.
Yeah, that's just going to say, Sandy, Jency's here.
That creeps me out. When that people that know about Spy Wednesday and we don't. Like, that's crazy.
Jeff, do you want to read this one?
Yeah.
I go separate for a minute, but I'm
trying to make it around like clockwise or whatever.
All right. I have a possible Mandela as well as something interesting / terrifying to share related to the tradition of dyeing Easter eggs. The possible ME question is, in which century did the tradition of dyeing eggs for Easter begin?
So I fully expect you to take a random guess. Just take a guess what you logically would think is when they started dyeing eggs. So just take a guess. Victorian times, says Philofire. 1900 says Gen C. 1200 says General Sorrow. $1700 says TD Mage. 1600 says Trippy Hippie. And I can't see Brian's chat if anyone would like to read it, please. Preliminal
I see 16. Sorry, I see 1600s for Trippy Hippie before Christ. 19th century, 2,000 years ago. I don't think it was that long ago.
No.
17.
I'd probably say 1600s maybe.
1900s, 17s, 1200, 1700s.
Do you guys remember those PAS? I think it's PAS, PAAS.
Yes.
It made the egg dyeing more fun, and you could put like the little sticker around the outside.
Wasn't it
They had a
PAAS?
lot of different ones.
What?
It's PAAS, like Haas. Yep.
Yeah, it looked just like Haas avocados.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
All right.
I
So
they're all over the place, which is what I expected, and it's fine.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. I don't do
Okay.
hey,
it.
File
So
Fire's
I
here.
don't know.
Yes, I already read.
I don't do the
Philo's
Easter
answer.
Bunny.
I know. I'm seeing it. Yeah, seeing it all come through here. All right. So we have. All right. So we
Brian?
got enough answers, right?
Yes.
All right. Perfect. All right, Jeff. Go ahead.
I would have said the 16th century or later, but the first reports of dyed Easter eggs come from Britain in the 13th century, 1290 to be exact. Do you recall the tradition being this old?
So who said 1200? They were the closest. Was that General Sorrow? Yes, it was General Sorrow. Yay! Yay for a good guess.
Hey, who said it? Who was right?
General Sorrow was the closest with 1200.
Okay. Do you want to have them email you, and I'll send you a book, or I'll send them a book or something?
Sure.
Ebook.
General Sorrow, he's going to send you a book, an ebook. I'm putting my brand new email address that everyone keeps asking for in the chat. It is Sandy Diva at Mandela-effect.me.
All right. So next slide.
Yes.
Go ahead, Jeff.
The other thing I want to bring up is the state of our economy. It has never been this bad in my lifetime, and the proof that today is worse than any year since the Great Depression are Easter eggs.
This is the terrifying part. Go ahead, Jeff.
There are many articles informing people that they need not waste eggs by boiling them, to dye them uncooked, which overall sounds like a horrible idea.
And wait, right here, Brian, go back. I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to flip real fast. The red box says, we've reviewed this article and we stand behind our advice. People are already complaining about it. Oh, it was funny. We stand behind this insane advice. Okay, go on. Sorry.
But the thing I am seeing most for the first time in my life are articles encouraging people to not dye Easter eggs at all this year. Instead, they suggest painting or dyeing raw or boiled potatoes. The reasoning is potatoes are cheap, a pantry staple, and if you only use food coloring, you can still eat them.
Blue mashed potatoes, yum.
Mhm. That just sounds amazing. Potatoes are not supposed to.
Just
No,
yeah,
eggs are usually always a cheap thing.
just pretend it's an egg. You know, just
Oh,
keep telling yourself that.
I
It's
guess
an egg. It's
I
an egg.
never really think about hard boiled or not hard. I just think about like keeping them out of the fridge for more than 2 hours. Like either way,
Yeah.
you
Ew.
know. It's just I don't know. I've never. I think I dyed maybe a couple of eggs in my entire life, and when I was like a kid, and that was with somebody else. We never did it, so I don't really know. I've never done it, so it doesn't affect me.
Uh, we've always done it, but you hard boil them first.
Did we read this
Then
one
you
yet? Sorry.
then you have egg salad for like a week.
This
Yeah.
is a new trend because of inflation, but I still felt it was necessary to share.
Yes, this isn't old. This is a new thing.
Yeah,
It's
we
just
just
a
use
disturbing
plastic
thing.
eggs.
Hmm?
Because whenever we would do anything, we'd get plastic eggs for the kids. Because my ex wanted to do Easter egg hunts with the kids. So we'd always do those.
For Easter egg hunts, it'd be plastic. Always.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, because like you don't want to be leaving those out of the fridge for too long. 'Cause I have no idea
No.
what they're used for other people. I don't know. Never done it. Like I said, I've done it like once with a friend of ours that had come over, and she was like, "Oh, this will be fun," and my dad's like, "Whatever."
Hard boiled eggs can stay out of the fridge longer than a raw egg. And for those of you not in the United States,
Yeah,
ours have to be refrigerated because
what
they.
about rotten eggs? What about rotten
Ew.
eggs?
Why? Why? No.
I always
No.
wonder. I always wonder why sulfur smells like rotten eggs.
I don't
All
know.
right. Anyway, Esther, how about you read this one?
I just want to note before we get started, I've covered the Munsters before, the color of Herman's being violet, not green. Many said they only just saw them black and white. This plays a major role in the presentation. Teresa and I'm going to guess Sandy
Yes.
have questions about the TV show. The Munsters, I will start with Teresa's find. This goes to Teresa. So, true or false? The cast of the Munsters were a rock band that recorded and sold albums.
So in the chat, true or false? Do you remember the Munsters being a rock band?
I don't remember them
I
really
don't know.
doing anything, just talking about stuff and then being silly and funny.
Brian,
False
can
so
you
far.
read your chat?
Yeah, let me see.
No way.
Jeff says no. Esther says no.
We
I
got
say no.
Gen says false. Man Animal says false.
Noise Guru says true. Super Sidewinder false. Oh, it's not a rock show. Come on. No, never heard of that. Sounds cool though. Yes, but I
Francine says
didn't
Hey,
no.
know it was
Francine W.
false.
Is that your Francine?
That's my Francine.
Oh wow. Hey Francine, welcome to the show.
Hey, Francine.
Right.
That's one of Sandy's best friends, right? Sandy?
Yes. Yes, yes,
From back home.
yes.
Yes.
TD Mage 20 says false. All right, shall we move on?
Sure. Hi, Teresa. We're
Ooh.
doing yours now.
We have found 2 albums and a photo of the monsters reforming. Teresa and I have no memory of this being a thing. Do you remember this? Some people do, but not most of you.
I didn't see anybody say true. That's weird.
But yeah, there was
Oh, they
only
must
2.
Brian's chat. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Was Noise Guru.
Am I supposed
Okay.
to? Is this just a rhetorical question?
No, it's actually true. The next slide shows you the pictures.
Okay. What? No.
Francine Super Sidewinder says that you are his or her. I don't know if you're Mr. Duh. His friend by default. I was like, I'm used to saying I don't know if
Bob,
it's a
yes, we
girl
can
or
see.
guy, but it's in the title. So guys, here, I'll read it go back, Brian. Real quick, sorry. Okay, so it says that the songs on the Red album at the top right are um, at the Munsters. Herman says hello. It takes all kinds of people. Everyone is welcome. Meet our pets. Meet Grandpa. Alphabet song. Eddie. I wish everyone was born this way. When will I find a boy like me? And nice of you to drop in. So these are just like regular songs. It's not like the Munsters theme song or anything. Sorry, Brian. You can go on now.
All right.
My question is a multi-part. The first question, not including the 2022 Rob Zombie film, do you remember any of the Munsters featured length movies?
So, ignoring the new one, do you know of any Munsters feature length movies?
I don't know of any.
Jesse
I mean, I
says
just saw it was a
no.
TV show.
Jeff?
No.
No way.
Brian?
Yeah.
Do you remember any Munsters movies besides the brand new one?
No.
Where we're getting
Can you
no's.
read?
Yeah, we're getting a bunch of no's.
Noise Guru says I want to say 3.
Yes.
Are you
And
guessing,
General
Noise
Sorrow
Guru?
says that's a
Nancy
way.
says no. Francine says no way. I wish they know. Mr. Super Sidewinder, no. Man Animal, no. Go Kart Bob says no. Hebrew says, seems like back in the 60s and 70s, they had a lot of shows where family became bands. I remember the Brady Bunch did a band session or something like that in the show.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, yeah, Brady Bunch, the Partridge Family. Hey, why not the Munsters?
And then he says just the next logical choice.
Yep. Interesting. All right. So, what do you guys think about that?
It's okay, Francine. We knew what you meant.
Yep.
So this is the one TD Mage remembers.
Oh, the
There are
Munsters
2
Revenge.
movies. There are 2 movies that I have never heard of. The Munsters Revenge, starring the original cast in '81, and the other, which I need to ask you more about. Where the Brady Bunch did eventually become a singing group, and the older one, or the newer one. Oh. All right, keep yawning.
Thank you, Mustard Seed.
I found
Go
this film right after Halloween, so I was going to save it for this year's Mandela. Sorry, I don't know how to say it. But since Teresa wanted to cover the monsters, I thought I'd combine them. When I looked at it again this week, I realized the title has changed. So my next question is...
Just like Munsters changed to Monsters by autocorrect.
Hi, Mr. Seed of Faith. If you are familiar with it, what is the title of their first movie? The 1966 full-length film, Blank Goes Home.
So there was a 1966 full color feature length released in theaters movie. The M word. What do you think it is?
I don't know, Monsters?
Yes.
IDK?
That would be my guess. Crypnotic says Monsters Go Home.
Mummy?
That's creative.
I wouldn't know. I would literally have to guess because I have no idea. Moon Stars?
I know. See, no one remembers this movie at all. I think this movie is completely Mandela. Crypnotic feels like I saw that movie. Well, like I said, when I first found this, the name was one way. And when I went to look at it again, it had changed. So we can move on, Brian.
When I found this back in October 22, the title was Monsters Go Home. But since then, it's changed to Munster. I know it was Monsters.
I have never heard them referred to as a singular, Munster, unless it's like their name, Herman
No, that's
Munster.
weird.
That doesn't make any sense. It should be Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
There's also an album, by the way. The White Thing is an album.
Did they just have 2 seasons?
Yeah, they just had 2 seasons and
I'm
lots of
surprised
syndication.
they didn't keep going on making more.
I'm surprised there's 3 movies for a show that only had 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's weird. And it
More.
says they were America's Funniest Family.
I don't know.
Maybe they got a lot of criticism. I don't know, for doing Family and Monsters. Monsters Go Home. You can buy it at a special low price of only $600.
Sorry, Joey just walked in. There's a ton of residue for Munsters. You can go through it faster though, Brian. We have a lot to cover. Yeah, why didn't they call it Munster Revenge? If this was Munster Go Home.
Yeah, it says Monsters Go Home, but it's actually Monster Go Home. That's weird.
On Internet Archive, yeah. And the keeps popping up once in a while. Because if you add a the title changes even more. Munsters Go Home is like the people yelling at the Munsters to get out of here, go home. The Munsters Go Home is a movie about them traveling home. You know what I'm saying? They have totally different meanings by adding the. Yet some people remember the there. Are you up, Brian? I think you're up. I think it's your presentation next.
What, with the trees?
Oh, no, it's Teresa. I'll read it, then you can read yours.
That's funny because her name kind of sounds like trees. Trees for Teresa.
So we do have a rewind, but it's a good rewind, and a lot of you probably haven't seen this. Hey, Super Mario Brothers, good to see you. All right, In 2022, Teresa found something strange happening to two types of pine trees, and this usually happens around Easter each year. Brian, read the next slide. I have to close the door. Joey's TV way too loud.
All right, so credit goes to Teresa Lynch. Have you ever heard of pine trees growing crosses for Easter? I remember hearing about this early in the Mandela effect, probably like 2017. What about you guys? Jeff? Anyone?
Well, Teresa covered this in 2019, but I didn't make a presentation for it until 2022.
I only heard of it when Teresa found it.
Okay. It's one of the older ones, but that's fine. So we're doing a rewind.
Yep.
Specifically, there's two species of pine tree are known to grow crosses in the spring around Easter: the loblolly and the ponderosa pines.
Yep, I can take over from here because your presentation is next, like yours, the one with your name on it.
Okay.
What I find really interesting is that many who live in the areas where these trees grow have never heard of or seen crosses growing on these trees. Look at the wide area that has these trees.
Apparently, they're all over the South.
They're all over your state. They're all over, or even
Yeah, they're in
my
Alabama,
state.
Georgia.
Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Louisiana.
I've only lived in 4 states out of
Tennessee.
all 50.
Not Tennessee. Well, no, there's some spots in Tennessee, Kentucky. And the West Coast, well, just forget it. It's all the states. Also, just to share, they have flowers in quotations because it's really pine cones that look just like mini pink pine cones. I think those are pine cones. At that stage, they look like pink flowers.
I want to see the crosses.
And here is what you have been waiting for, the crosses. Lots and lots of crosses on trees.
Yeah, and if you notice, it kind of forms like 3 of them like together, in a bunch. You know how just how Jesus died on the cross with the 2 guys beside him, one on his left, one on his right.
Jency is flipping.
Hey, that one, the second one on the top, that kind of looks like Groot. I am Groot.
I see it. I see it. So yeah, it's not like you can even. I mean, you can notice them from far away. So it's not like oh, you have to be up close. No, you can see them from the ground. There's pictures of people taking them from the ground.
Pretty cool. Our world is changing.
Yes, it is.
Speaking of another change, this is one that I found. Let me present this one. All right, so I don't know. I'm not akin anymore to finding as many Mandela effects as I used to. But this one, I believe I've heard about this from Nobleness D, but I can't find any record of it online. Regardless, I realized that the name of this Mandela place has changed. So this may be the first time you're hearing about this, but if you have heard about this before, what is the name of the sea that is made up of the whirlpool of currents in the Atlantic Ocean surrounding Bermuda? Is it the Sargasso or the Sargasso? What is it to you? Fill in the blank.
Do you remember Sarah or Sar?
And don't look it up, guys. Just say what you remember. If you don't know, that's fine. Just say you don't know.
If it wasn't for Noble, I wouldn't know at all.
I don't know this one.
We have a couple of you guys here.
Wow. All SARS.
Sorry, yeah. I wow. Because we when did he? I don't know, when did he bring it up? I'm not sure when he brought this up
A couple years
exactly.
ago. A couple years ago.
All right, so Sandy and I remember the name being Sargasso, but it's always been Sargasso. Which do you remember? So yeah, it's that little area of the near Bermuda.
That's okay. We got great residue.
It's interesting how it swirls over there, like that. It's the
It
current.
is. Like it's just going like
It's
Bermuda
bizarre.
stops the current and spins it. Yeah.
So I actually was watching the Weather Channel, and that's my story. I was watching the Weather Channel. You know how they have those different video clips? They're telling people in Florida to be careful not to touch this seaweed. And you see here somebody's got their hands on it. It's got microscopic jellyfish in there, and it's smelly and it's brown. And you don't want to be near it. And it's actually swarming the coast.
Yeah.
But yeah, the dictionary tells us that the sargasso comes from the word sargassum, or smelly brown seaweed.
I added smelly in there.
Okay. But just as there are many other examples, we found some residue for this one. Even famous scientific papers by climatologists calling that same seaweed sargassum. So we believe this is a Mandela change.
So it's not just the name of the sea that's changed for us. The seaweed itself has changed. Now, those of you that remember Sargasso, do you remember this? Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, Sandy says here, I just want to add, I don't know if this part has been discussed, but I'm seeing a new Sargasso Sea on the map now. This one is in the Caribbean. Do you remember this?
It's literally just called New Sargasso Sea.
Wow.
No special name, just a new one. Does anyone remember this one? No, DD74, you're good. We did
Yeah.
older stuff
But,
first.
I believe it was it Teresa who found the residue, Sandy? I think Teresa
She
was.
did. She found the Sargasso, and then I found the Sargassum.
Yeah, all these residues for Sargasso Sea. Why would you see the consistent misspelling?
So
You
far,
see, hang on, Sandy. Do you see how that residue that you put in green is now Sargasso Sea? I think someone changed that, or I think it's been Mandela.
Yeah, that probably was.
Your residue
it's in green
changed.
for a reason.
How did your residue change? It wasn't that Sargasso?
I don't know. It's possible that it wasn't. I was rushing through them and I missed it. It's possible.
Okay, but we have seen residue change, folks.
We have. Like, as you can see here, I put the ones that were Sargasso in red. But so far it's all no's for the new one.
Okay, the new Sargasso Sea.
Super Mario, I remember the Christmas TV movie, but I was just talking about feature length. I don't remember the first one in '95, but I remember the Christmas special.
Yeah, just know if you guys plan on taking a beach trip, don't touch the seaweed. Tell your kids not to touch it. Also, of course, they'll do the opposite of whatever you tell them, but just watch what they're doing.
All right, guys.
All right, next one.
Jeff, you are up.
All right. Grapes are an essential fruit in Christianity, creating the blood of Christ in the form of juice for the underage and wine among adults and religious ceremonies. Yes or no? There's something my education left out about prohibition. Have you ever heard of wine bricks?
Yes or no in the chat. Have you ever heard of wine bricks?
No.
Wine drink.
Gen C says no.
11 wine.
Dehydrated.
Hey, Rena.
No.
Is Rena in the chat?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Hi,
Hey, Rena.
No.
Rena, you're welcome to come on and join us if you want to.
Where's Rena?
Rena, I saw your messages, but I was working to get this done. I will get back to you soon.
All right, shall we move on? Because we got a few more to cover here. We got a lot more to cover.
During Prohibition, wine bricks were sold to the public. They were nothing more than shelf-stable grape juice concentrate, but real grape juice, not artificial like you mostly find today.
So it was highly concentrated liquid?
Yes, highly concentrated liquid and dried.
Doesn't look like you get a lot out of it. I guess is it like one of those things it just says add water?
Yeah.
Or
You're
just
gonna
add
see.
water?
You'll see. Next slide.
I love those things that say just add water. Good.
Vine-Glo was one of many companies that sold grape juice wine bricks to the public during Prohibition.
Legal in your home.
All companies that made wine bricks included these instructions. 1. Dissolve the full brick in a gallon of warm water. 2. Immediately or add ice and serve. 3.
Oh, the word, sorry.
Keep any unused juice cold.
I was copying and pasting and messed up.
But Vine-Glo wasn't like the other companies. While their directions were the same, they included a warning label and something extra that the others did not include, which violated the 18th Amendment, the Volstead Act. The warning label stated, after dissolving the brick in a gallon of water, do not place the liquid in a jug away in the cupboard for 20 days, because then it will turn into wine. And attach to the brick a packet of yeast.
They're like, warning, don't do this. Hint, hint.
Sorry, did you already read it?
Yeah.
All right.
This not only allowed people to make bootleg wine at home, but the packet, which wasn't even necessary, and warning label told them how to do it, which violated the law, but the Supreme Court chose not to prosecute.
Or to amend the 18th Amendment to ban the, it was a loophole and they decided to leave it open.
So what do you think? I believe we should have learned of these during our history classes. I learned about bootleg alcohol, but not wine bricks. Seems a little strange that this was left out.
I love the autocorrect. It's like, wine brick isn't a thing. I'm going to change it to breaks. It's good to go wine break at work with me.
Yeah, just as we should all. This reminds me of the wineskins. Now they're bottles in the Bible.
These are bricks. You can build your house with it.
Can you imagine if you built your house out of wine bricks?
No, it'd be bad if it rained. All right, Esther, you're up.
Flicker's acting slow. Hold on.
I'm looking for General Star's comment. It's funny. Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Meats come with their own yeast naturally.
That too, but it was like something like, "Hey, here's a yeast packet," something like that. I forget what it was. It's good.
All right.
Marinara mortar.
Actually, I believe it's Esther. Is it you? Is it your turn?
Yeah.
It is Esther's
Okay,
turn.
you're up if you want to.
This question I'm about to ask could very well be info I never knew. So please forgive me if I'm wrong, but every Jewish person I've ever asked has had no memory of this either. In
If anyone's
ancient,
Jewish out there, that could help. Sorry. Go on.
true or false? In ancient time, Jewish people not only believed but worshipped multiple gods.
True or false in the chat? What do you remember? Do you remember? I guess they'd be called Israelites at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Do you
they did.
remember them worshiping multiple gods?
I remember the only thing that I remember is from Exodus where they, you know, Moses was out there and he got angry with them, and so did God. God got angry with the people because they were praying to like fertility gods.
So then it would be true for you.
Yes, it was true for me at one point where they were in Egypt. They had false gods because they were in Egypt with their calf.
Moloch, that's who it was. Moloch, or there was Moloch, but there was also that fertility god, the calf, the or whatever.
Golden
Yeah.
calf. Yeah, they made an idol, and Moses went up to go get the 10 Commandments, and he came back to a golden calf and all of that because they were used to that from the Egyptians. Jacob's father-in-law, he had graven images that he kept his idols that Rachel stole when he was leaving the house. When they were leaving, she took her dad's idols with her to have something
Well,
of her
then
dad.
my religion teachers failed then, because I don't remember any of this.
I mean, the majority of Jewish people did only have,
Oh yeah, Baal.
Yahweh.
We can't forget about Baal.
Right, but that's the thing.
Jesus.
Hold on, wait, stop. But that's the thing. I remember in the Bible the Canaanites worshiping the gods, not the Israelites. It's gonna be on the
I mean,
next
the
slide.
Israelites were known for having one God, but they did have people within the Israelite people that did have their own personal.
And that's why I'm
Not every
saying my
single one of them
religion
was
teachers
like.
failed.
Yeah. In my past, they only worship Yahweh. The only difference between us was the Christians believe in Jesus Christ as a Savior, the Son of God, but that's not true. There's Paul, was it Paul? He came across the grave of the unknown God. They were worshiping him, and they didn't know why.
Next slide, Brian. There you go.
It's true that they worship Yahweh, but ancient Jewish people also worship gods and goddesses such as Asherim, Mot, and Shemish. I didn't know the names of them. I just know that they had people that did believe. Just like in any society, not 100% are going to be all
So they're
following the
pretty
same
much
person.
saying like all of them, the Jewish religion, worship multiple gods. That's how they put it.
Like I said, I could be completely wrong, but I have no memory of this in the Bible. I only remembered the Canaanites worshiping these gods, not the Jewish people. Do you think this could be an Emmy?
I think so. I never heard of it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of any names of the other guy. They were usually just like false idols, but I've never heard of the name of. Huh.
Maybe the change that the names are in the Bible now.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, I'm just thinking of even like, what was his name? That dude that went to war had like 500 people or whatever, and he had them go down to the riverbank and go drink out of the river. And the guy was like, why? And then he realized because people who were used to worshiping to false gods would get down on their hands and knees and actually reach for the water that way. And the people that weren't would bend down and like do it differently. So he knew who was used to worshiping false idols compared to the people who were clean and didn't worship false idols. And therefore he could take those people into battle. And those are the people that worship the true God.
All right, this is a long one.
Sorry, I'm giving a history.
No, you're fine,
Okay.
Esther.
You're fine. I'm just preparing everyone. This is a three-parter. The first part we covered on Curiouser, and I added parts. Some versions of the Last Supper have changed, in my opinion, drastically. I believe a reality has merged with ours where John is seated differently. However, Da Vinci's version does not reflect this change. Yes or no in the chat. And if you've already seen this one, just answer what you originally answered. Have you ever seen a version of the Last Supper with John on Jesus's lap, leaning on him like in an embrace, or sleeping on the table? Yes or no in the chat.
I don't remember anybody doing those.
Gen C says no. Noise Guru says G to G. Gotta go. All right.
Have a good night, Noise
Good
Guru.
night. Good night, Noise Guru. Thank you for coming. So I was just thinking about that too. Mustard Seed of Faith says that means the Da Vinci Code is now out of whack.
Maybe, because like I said, Da Vinci's version has not changed in this way.
Wait, which one is John?
John is the one you think is Mary Magdalene.
So the one with the long hair there.
Looks very feminine.
We're going to get into that, Brian. There's so much to get into here. I just want yes or no's in the chat right now.
Right.
All right, Trippy Hippie says yes, leaning on Jesus. All right, we can go to the next slide.
Nobody
I
was
don't know what
touching
you're
him. He was always separate.
I have found several changes to Da Vinci's Last Supper painting over the years, which required, I find, residue. I've searched and seen hundreds of Last Supper paintings over the last 7 years, not just from Da Vinci, but from other people. Like, I've seen so many. It's okay, Brian, we're going to get into that later, too. Sorry, keep going.
Would you want to talk about the knot?
No, just
No.
keep going. It's coming up. But I have never, not once, seen versions like these, where he's sleeping on the table, leaning on Jesus, or sitting in his lap. Yet there are so many out there just like them. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
I haven't.
Now, if you go on, I think there's more pictures.
Never. Oh, obviously,
Yeah, there you
John.
go.
No way.
I've never seen it depicted like this.
Me neither.
I mean, look at the one on the bottom left. He's literally sitting in his lap.
He looks like a child.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, why would you be sleeping on the table? Wasn't that late? Divino was
No.
primo.
I'm going to be showing you the ridiculous reason at the end of this. Don't worry. As you can see, multiple artists, multiple centuries of art depicting this.
That's just weird.
It
Oh,
is
One in the
weird.
top left is
Yeah,
why I
that's-
think this change is happening.
that's a little too.
Sketchy. We'll just call it sketchy.
Blasphemous is what I call it.
Suspicious. A little sus, right?
It's blasphemous.
Blasphemous.
Yeah. I didn't want to finish the sentence because it's a family-friendly channel.
So I'm going to read the top. Here's your reasoning. The youngest disciple, John, placed directly in front of Christ, rests his head on his hand on the table. It will become a tradition for John to be shown sleeping.
But
It
he's not
will
like a baby.
become a tradition, April 7th, 2022. Yet these paintings go back centuries. Part 2. Change to the main painting. Like I previously stated, I have found several changes over the years to Da Vinci's painting located in Santa Maria del Grazie in Milan, Italy. The tablecloth. I found the folds, the pattern, and the knots were never there for me.
Yeah, that looks weird.
I also covered the floor. The floor pattern and the feet were not visible. And then the feet got sandals. And now the sandals are bigger with different colors. Like you can literally, like the flap over the sandal got thicker. And they're in the colors
Why
of
do
the
their
clothes.
Why do their feet look so big?
No, the feet aren't big, Brian. The sandal is big. The
Oh,
flap over the top got thicker. The table rolls, glasses, and plates were found by others, as well as Jesus' chalice being missing. But I found Jesus' clothes had changed from white blue to red blue, and sometimes it's shown as red black. The
Was it the
whole
window?
painting setting. What?
Oh, sorry. You were reading.
no, I feel like the tablecloth was longer to cover their feet and everything.
I just remember it dark. It was dark from the shadow. You couldn't see anything. The whole painting setting is wrong. It's bright now, with a coffered ceiling and windows. It was dark, almost cave-like in my past. But the new change is on the table again.
And what's up with that arch above the middle doorway?
Yeah, that was one of the changes we found. But the new change is on the table, Brian. Next page. Which you can already see on the previous picture. There are now apples or tomatoes on the table that were not there. Whatever they are red to yellow with green on top, and obviously different from the rolls. Do you remember these? Do you remember
No.
apples or tomatoes on the table? I think they're apples. Personally, I think they're apples. Which I don't believe were in that area back then. There's the close-up of the shoes. Look at that. Look at that. There's gold detailing on the one. I can't. That's wrong. Absolutely not. Those are definitely apples. They were not there. Absolutely not there.
No, it was not there.
I know that. Well, I don't know where Da Vinci.
And the apple, I could spark a debate here, but the apple has always been viewed as the fall of man.
Mhm.
Even though they're claiming in today that it wasn't really an apple, it was some other fruit. I think it was like a pear or something like that. What was it?
Hmm.
It doesn't specify. It's just a fruit now in the Bible.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's fruit.
Part 3. Oh, go ahead. Mary Magdalene is being erased. And I don't know if you guys have been watching YouTube, but we hear women are being erased a lot right now. Mary Magdalene is being erased. This is my original presentation on the chalice with snakes with Mary Magdalene. Everything said it was Mary Magdalene. It's not Mary Magdalene anymore. I can't read the bottom, Brian. Two years ago, and actually it was 2020, so 3 years ago, I asked if you remembered Mary Magdalene having a chalice with snakes. These images were all identified as being Mary. Can you zoom out? The pictures are important, Brian. Remember how I said John looked like a woman in many of the artworks? It makes sense now, because they are now saying John the Evangelist is in those images, not Mary. So all those images they said were Mary Magdalene are now John, who we
Which
just talked
images?
about. All the images that I showed on that you were zoomed in on. My previous presentation from 2020.
Oh wow.
They're now saying they're John. In my past, John was depicted as a writer, book or scroll, quill, and if there was a chalice, it was empty. And while you can find depictions like this, the majority show him with the chalice full of snakes. If you recall John having a chalice, do you remember anything else in it besides snakes? So that's the question for the chat. If you recall John having a chalice, do you remember anything in the chalice besides snakes? Or if you recall Mary Magdalene with a chalice, anything besides snakes?
I don't remember snakes being a part of anything.
Me either. That's why I covered it in 2020. Francine is a no. TD Mage is a no. LVK says the chalice from the palace. Hanabi, welcome, says no idea, not familiar. Can someone see Brian's chat, please?
Oh, it's the same thing. No,
It is?
no.
Sorry, Sandy. I'm struggling to stay awake.
There's only one more after this. You're going to read it.
Oh yeah, I've fallen asleep a few times.
Okay, so because I do not recall ever seeing a dragon in a chalice in any Christian art in my life, yet snakes and dragons are frequently pictured with John because he drank poison and lived. Does anyone remember seeing dragons in a chalice in Christian artworks and stained glass?
No.
Anyone?
Snakes were typically not in any artwork on anything because snakes are typically related
It's associated
to
with the devil.
Yeah, so they don't typically have snakes anywhere.
Wait,
Again, I already knew about the snakes. The snakes were new for me in 2020. The dragons are blowing my mind. Yeah, you can move on, Brian. It's just showing you current reality. St. John is with snakes and dragons.
Here, have a cup of serpents. Cup of serpents.
It's because he survived. He drank poison and survived it.
Well, I know Paul, he got bit by snakes.
No, he drank poison. That's why it's in the chalice.
Yeah.
But still, I don't associate. I've never seen snakes or dragons. Ever. And it's everywhere. Not that you can't find it without. Here's residue.
There's residue, yeah. He's writing something.
Yeah, that is what I remember for John. Are any of these changes for you? Because they are all changes for me. John sleeping, holding a chalice of dragons, replacing Mary Magdalene, or tomatoes or apples on the table in the Last Supper. They are all new for me. All right, Brian, you are up.
All right, last one, you guys. Hang in there.
He is also shown writing LBK. John wrote the gospel, so he's shown as a writer as well.
All right, there are two changes from my memory with Jesus Christ himself. The first is how he held his hand, giving a blessing, and the second is how he died on the cross. So first, we need to ask a question about, or without pictures. When Jesus held up his hand for a blessing, do you remember the palm away from him or towards him?
So, do you remember the palm inward or outward when he did a blessing in paintings and stained glass? Do you remember his palm pointing outward or inward? Wait for the chat. Jency says away or outward. Outwards is trippy hippie.
Away, outward, outward, outward.
I don't know how you would do that because
I think they were aimed outward.
how would you point them outward? I guess you'd have to turn your wrists like
It's like
180
you're
degrees.
doing stop, Brian, but then you bend your fingers to do the symbol. Like you're saying stop, but the symbol, that's outward. Inward would be any other direction but outward. All right, you can go to the next one. Everybody's pretty much on board with outward. And when you guys see the drawings, take it with a grain of salt. I had to Photoshop them. They were not easy. All right.
All right, so it was away in my past, but now the majority are towards him now. You will see what I mean on the next question. So, which hand position do you remember? Crossed fingers, two fingers, three fingers, four ring finger, and thumb touching.
So this is outward, like I remember. But you're going to see when we get to the pictures that it's not outward like that. It's more, it's either sideways or in. It's not right. This is right. This is outward. Go back, Brian. They didn't answer.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm really struggling here, Sandy.
So Jency is a 2. Trippy Hippie is a 2. Mr. Super Sidewinder is a 2. You guys are making me feel so good because everyone I asked said 3, and I'm like, what? Some people changed it to 2.
What did I ask?
They started out with
I don't
other
remember what I
things.
answered. 2,
Brian, can
2,
you zoom
3.
in on? Can you zoom in on the individual hands for them?
Two's the majority. Oh, it's definitely one dude.
I feel like 1.
You remember 1, Brian?
No, I'm kind of going with 3 actually. Or 2, 3 or 2.
2 is
One
the
is
ring
2.
finger. Listen, guys, number 2 is the ring finger touching the thumb.
Yeah, I don't recall that though. I'm saying it's probably 3 for me. All right, we got enough answers?
We do.
And they're all over the place. 4 4,
my
1,
past, it was
2,
always
4.
There's a reason for that, Esther.
in my past it was always 2 fingers with the thumb bent, but not touching any fingers. This was the only example I could find. Um, but I remember the hand pointing outward, not inward.
So can you see how you're seeing the side of the hand? Like it was facing out and now it's turned in.
No.
I don't remember it turned in like that. But wait, but like I said, the majority. Oh, I didn't even get to that. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, the majority are a mix of the other 3 options, with the crossed finger and the ring finger touching, the thumb being the most common. Is this your memory?
So crossed fingers, like he's saying, I hope everything turns out okay. And 3 fingers, and then the ring finger touching the thumb are the current reality. I only found 2 pictures the way I remember it, which is number 4. I can go with number 2, but I cannot go with 1 and 3. And they are the most common.
So the second change can be found in the Gospel of John. Yes, John again. A passage that's read in church every Easter and has changed for me. While Jesus is dying on the cross, what has he eventually died from? A, blood and fluid loss from his wounds, or B, poisoning.
A or B in the chat. What do you guys remember? Sleepy Brian, stay here.
Oh man, I'm really struggling, Sandy.
I know, that's why I said don't do the rewinds.
Poisoning.
Jency says poisoning. I think A. Retracted. Now it's an A. Trippy Hippie is an A.
Okay.
Well,
Neither.
then tell us what you remember, Noise Guru.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm a neither as well.
What do you remember, Esther?
He gave up the ghost. He said, I into my spirit, I release, or what was it?
That's
How
what
did he
that's
say that?
what
For thy
Esther.
Father.
Giving up the ghost or
Father,
giving up
to
the
your
spirit
hands.
is dying.
Father, to your
That is the
hands I commit.
translation.
Yeah, he gave up his spirit willingly. He didn't actually die of he gave up the spirit. I don't know what the actual
semantics. I'm not talking about that.
was.
Esther, that's semantics. I'm talking about what led up to him giving up the ghost. Was it blood loss or poisoning?
To me, it was blood loss. A.
It can't be poisoning. It would have to be like clotting or whatever, like blood filling up in his lungs or whatever, physical and actual, because you have to have a physical reason to die, but that's like his happened faster than the others because he physically made it happen faster because he gave it up and therefore died faster.
Okay, well, that's not it anymore.
But before the answer, I remember Jesus being offered gall, then hyssop. He refused both times, wanting a clear head when his time to return to the kingdom of heaven came. Is this what you remember too?
So, guys, do you remember him? This is a new question. Do you remember him turning away the gall and hyssop? Or do you remember him turning away the gall, but then taking the hyssop? Just say no or yes. No is turning away both times, or yes is taking it.
You died from being crucified, yes. But when you get crucified, there are there's many things that can happen when you're crucified, but mostly it's typically suffocation, which is why they break your legs.
Yes.
Help you suffocate better.
Jency said he refused the poison. Trippy Hippie says yes. Have you ever seen this?
I don't
No,
remember him
he
ever.
refused, says Trippy Hippie. All right, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, because if you remember the scripture like I remember it, we are wrong now. Jesus refuses just once. Now he accepts the hyssop. In every translation I could find, he accepts the hyssop.
Do you want me to finish reading it?
What is hyssop?
Yeah, go ahead and finish reading it, Sandy.
Okay. So, I'm going to be. We're going to do a quick. I'm going to go through the big ones, and then we're going to go through the other ones really quick. We're not even going to stop to read them. I'm just going to show you all the ones that look the same. So, the Revised Standard Version Catholic Edition says, after this, Jesus, knowing that all was now finished, said to fulfill the scripture, I thirst. A bowl full of vinegar stood there. So they put a sponge full of vinegar on hyssop and held it to his mouth. When Jesus had received the vinegar, which he did not do in my fast, he said, it is finished, and he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. The New Catholic Bible says, Jesus dies on the cross. After this, aware that everything had now been completed, and in order to that the scripture may be fulfilled, Jesus said, I thirst. A jar filled with sour wine was standing nearby. So they soaked a sponge in the wine on a branch of hyssop and held it up to his lips. When Jesus had taken the wine, he
didn't take.
He
did not take it. That's changed.
I know. Then he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. Next slide.
Brags.
Brags. This is the King James Version. After this, Jesus, knowing that all things were now accomplished, that the scripture might be fulfilled, saith, I thirst. Now there was a vessel full of vinegar. Joey is talking in my ear. He remembers it is done, not it is finished. When Jesus therefore had received the vinegar, he said, it is finished, and he bowed his head and gave up the ghost. I'm reading different translations, not the one you know. Oh my gosh. There's Joey, everyone. He's real.
I've heard him before.
I know. Bye. Now the party begins. Oh my gosh.
So these are just different translations.
I remember they basically like forced the vinegar on him, but he didn't drink it like willingly. Like he didn't want it.
No, he didn't want it.
They put it on a sponge and like they basically like tempted him with it and like ha, here, have some vinegar, you're thirsty.
I wonder if that changes the greatest story. I wonder if that changes the greatest story ever told.
I don't know. It's been a while since I watched Easter. I should pull that out and watch it though.
Yeah, didn't there was a movie that came out in the early 2000s, I think.
Joey said hi, everyone, and Francine. Sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
No, there was a movie that came out. Who directed it?
I don't know who you're talking about, but you can flip through these real fast. They all say the same thing. All of them.
Yeah, Lilith was weird when I found out about Lilith. I had no idea.
Brian, there's more.
Yeah, I was just thinking about
I can keep reading if you want to just go on and you can keep thinking. We're almost done, Brian.
Mel Gibson. That's who I was thinking of. Mel Gibson.
The Passion of the Christ.
Yes, Passion of the Christ. Make sure if you haven't seen that, watch it. It's a great movie.
Ugh. I won't say my opinion on it.
I like The Greatest Story Ever Told. That's still my favorite. So he did not receive the wine from the, not in my memory.
There's even articles, was Jesus poisoned? And now I do need you to zoom. That's too small. It was only what would fit. No, stay zoomed in. I can't read it. Jesus, Brian, zoom in. Stay. No, go back. I can't see. Oh my God. Jesus was filled with the Holy Spirit on the cross, yet the poison killed him instantly. The Holy Spirit departed from his body immediately after the vinegar was consumed. That is the translation now. The poison killed him instantly. There are articles stating he was poisoned now. The scripture implies now that while on the cross, Jesus died from hyssop poisoning. No, never. Please tell me you guys do not remember this, because I do not.
No, I didn't even know what hyssop was. And
With the help of Karen Melanie, thank you, Karen, and her husband, Gary, thank you, I can confidently say that every translation available to us has changed. I couldn't find a single piece of residue the way I remember it. They all say he was poisoned by hyssop. They all say he took it. And both times in my past, he refused.
It's Happy Easter in half the country right now.
oh, it's only Easter over here. I've
Yes,
got to
it's Easter
rewatch
here.
The Case for Christ, where they talk about him dying on the cross, and I'm gonna have to rewatch that scene when he talks about how he died on the cross, because he goes into an explanation about how it happened and everything. I'm gonna see, because maybe I can find some
Yeah,
residue with that.
see if you can find us a clip real quick.
Interesting. Jency remembers him dying from the crown of thorns. I remember him wearing the crown of thorns while he carried the cross.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it is Happy Easter, everyone. So
Brian's ready to pass out, everyone. Happy
yes,
Easter.
I am. I've got to set up
Yes.
Easter egg hunt for my daughter. She's going to be doing the Easter egg hunt tomorrow when I get her back with me.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
yeah.
Thank you for waiting so long for us and hanging out with us so late. We hope you have a wonderful Easter and a wonderful Sunday. And we will see you here next week, right, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, same
Not same time.
same rough
Hopefully
time.
earlier.
Yeah, hopefully earlier.
Yeah. It's too late.
Yes.
Steph, are you still with us? You're so quiet.
Yeah, I'm here.
You guys are going to hear me snore if I stay on any longer, so I'm going to relieve you guys of that. Have a great, wonderful Mandela Effect day or night. God bless, and we'll see you guys next time.
Right.
Night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Happy Easter.
Good night, everyone.